So today I want to talk about ranged and melee DPS, specifically in Mythic Plus and how they're doing. And I mean this in the sense that I really believe that ranged is struggling for the most part. Um, this is due to Dragonflight having an insane amount of mechanics in the dungeons. I remember when I first started playing Dragonflight and going into the first dungeons, I was really surprised on how much more difficult they are than regular dungeons. How many more things need to be kicked, how many more swirlies are on the ground, how much you need to pay attention more than you used to. So, in a regular Mythic Plus dungeon, as a caster, you need to avoid all of these, and you need to move out of the Mythic Plus mechanics as well, so you have two different things that you're probably going to have to be aware of. And then you actually have to do the thundering mechanic as well. While doing your rotation, while interrupting, while CCing, it's a lot. You have a lot of hard casts as most casters, and you really don't get hardly any chance to stand still as a caster at all in Mythic Plus dungeons in Dragonflight. Um, Whereas a melee, you have so many benefits. First of all, you have a much shorter cooldown kick for the most part. Um, you have full DPS while you move for the most part. Most things that you have to move out of range for, you can still attack. Like the circles and swirlies on the ground aren't really that big, so you can still stay in range while you're doing your full DPS rotation. You don't miss out. You don't have these hard casts. And there aren't very many mechanics for melee that totally stop them having to do DPS. Whereas for casters, there's not that really many instant casts that you can do to continue your rotation when you have to move out of the range. And the only way that I can see out of this in a way that Blizzard might do are a few things. First, I would say maybe swap out some more of the ranged mechanics for some melee mechanics, like some new ones. I have a couple ideas. Say for one, um, drop an orb or something near the enemy that you're fighting, like very close, so it's in melee range, and make a target somewhere. Kind of like when you're playing the ball game in Algothar Academy, and you have to grab the orb by running over it, and then run over to the area and drop the ball off. And if you don't in time, maybe it explodes or something, kind of like an explosive or something. I know how much I hate explosive, but it's a good idea. And it would give something that the melee had to do, just make it take like 2 seconds to get it from one to the other, just so that they have something to do that would get them to have to focus on not DPSing, much like casters have to do to move out of stuff. Another one, which I'm a little skeptical on, but every few seconds, or not few seconds, I don't know, like every 15 seconds in combat, if you're still fighting an enemy, it will reflect melee physical damage back for a couple seconds, kind of like that boss, break yourself upon my body, whatever that boss was in Cataclysm, I think it was. Like something like that. I think reflect is a little iffy, but that could give melee, they have to do something. You could have something like the guys in Karazhan where you have to turn away, but then that affects range too. I'm just throwing up some like just quick brainstormed ideas of things that would have melee have to stop DPSing just like range do with because of all the mechanics that they have to deal with. And which brings me to my second topic is really Mythic Plus doesn't need the amount of fixes that it has right now. With how many things there are in Dragonflight dungeons, you don't need two additional affixes plus tyrannical and or fortified and the thundering affix, which has you move and do stuff as well. So you're dodging all these things plus doing all these mechanics. Just maybe we knock it down one notch. I mean, you added too much stuff to Dragonflight dungeons in the first place, and now Mythic Plus is having to deal with it, especially now that we have to go up to 20s to get our gear, which I think is a great idea. I think it's cool that you go up to 20s, you can get more and more gear, but still, it gets harder and ridiculously harder. How hard does it got to be? I mean, comparatively to rating, which one's harder? Now, I don't want ranged to be better than melee. I don't want melee to be better than ranged. I want everything to be balanced. And I know traditionally, especially in a raid environment, ranged is usually more sought after because there's more mechanics around the where the melee are, but not in Dragonflight. No, 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 no. So melee have it. infinite, infinitely better and everything. There's no downside to having melee in your group in Dragonflight. And I would just like it to be more even. And if you've played a ranged, I'm sure that you know how much of a headache it is. That's all. I just want to do this little short video to just talk about my qualms with ranged and melee right now. I also want to thank my new subscribers. I just started making videos again, and I've already got a good influx of subscribers. So hi all, thank you. I'm going to continue doing videos. I'm really hoping that I can get back into streaming as well. But for the time being, I'm still kind of trying to pick out my tank main. I don't like playing prot warrior, and they're just so much better than all the other tanks right now that I'm just kind of switching between tanks and doing like low mythics like 12s to 15s and just messing around. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.